Ni hao, that means hello in Mandarin. We've just come back from a whirlwind trip to China. In July 2018, we spent 2 weeks traveling around the country. We visited Shanghai, Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu, Yangshuo, and Hong Kong. We saw some amazing sights, ate some delicious and sometimes downright weird food, and even crossed 2 parks off our every Disney park bucket list. Come with us as we travel far east.
Welcome to Shanghai Disneyland. To ensure a safe and enjoyable experience, please refrain from running.
We just did Peter Pan's Flight and it was great. We are now making our way over to Adventure Isle to do soaring.
The Camp Discovery Challenge trails are definitely not to be missed at Shanghai Disneyland.
You are crazy doing that.
The water block didn't seem hard at all.
You are crazy. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the It's a Caducee.
The Shanghai version of Pirates of the Caribbean is every bit as spectacular as we had heard.
Oh no. What's the best thing about Shanghai Disneyland?
Some of the desserts are pretty good.
Like what?
Well, those donuts, those are at the hotel. But those donuts that we had this morning were good.
How many non-Chinese people have you seen here today?
Best ride so far at Shanghai Disneyland has been Pirates, which was pretty cool. I love listening to Mountain Street when we go backwards down a big hill.
For what it's worth, we took a new poll at the end of the day, and Tron won the prize for Best Ride at Shanghai Disneyland. The next morning, we went downtown to check out the Shanghai city skyline. This mother and son that we ran into on the BUND wasted no time in arranging a photo op. Liam and I were excited to try some authentic Shanghai soup dumplings. We picked some up from a takeout food stall, then bought tickets into Yu Garden and went inside to eat. headed over to Tianzifang, a shopping and entertainment district in the old French concession. We had a special destination in mind that we thought Mallory in particular might enjoy.
And the cat is wearing a sports jersey and a pearl necklace.
And he's sitting on our table. Don't forget that part.
And he's sitting on our table and Dad is disgusted.
Trying to eat food. And we have a cat on our table. It's a good idea.
After we ate and played with the cats, we had time for a bit of souvenir shopping before heading to the Shanghai railway station. We had an overnight train to Beijing to catch.
Yeah.
We got slippers. Did we really?
Slippers for everybody. This is our third night in China, 2 nights in Shanghai, and 1 night here on the train. And Liam has already collected 3 pairs of slippers.
Where do you get 3 from? We've only been to 2.
I have 6 in my suitcase right now.
You had 6 pairs of slippers in your suitcase?
Do you really?
Alright Chad, what's on the menu on the sleeper train?
This is a pork floss. I can't remember if it was panaka or something like that. It's very weird. It's like, it's pork of some kind, a little bit of spice on it, but it has the texture of cotton candy. It's kind of very weird.
Is it pork flavored cotton candy or is it actually meat?
I couldn't tell you.
Kind of very weird.
So here, I'm going to zoom in on mine because I've got a pork floss also. There we go. That is the pork floss. It's kind of weird.
Our train pulled into Beijing the next morning and we set out for the MUTIANYU section of the Great Wall of China. Unfortunately, the weather was not cooperating.
I'm glad we don't have to hike up that whole mountain though. I can see it, it's ahead of us. Here.
How's the Great Wall?
It is foggy, it's slippery, but nobody's fallen off yet, so.
And how's the view?
Yeah, the view is pretty short.
You know that winding view of the Great Wall where you see it winding over the green mountains?
That's what this is.
I'm at a spot right now where I should be able to see that.
Eventually, we gave up on the Great Wall of China, went back to Beijing to check into our Pudong hotel, and headed out to the CHAOYANG Theater for their famous acrobat show. we came out of the theater, it was still pouring rain, so we hopped on the subway and rode over to WANGFUJING Snack Street, where we went in search of our dinner.
Tennis is amazing grace. You gotta do it.
I'm nervous. Is there any squishy stuff inside? It's just all crunch? Pretty much, or?
Except for the center.
Is it all crunchy?
The heart was squishy, right?
Is it all crunchy or not? I gotta know. Okay.
With our stomachs full of scorpion, we decided to get out of the rain and call it a night. The next morning, after a hearty dumpling breakfast, we set out for the Temple of Heaven. But on the way there, we got distracted by all of the activity at a nearby park. This guy thought that he was going to have to teach Liam how to play badminton. Little does he know that Liam plays several racket sports and he can hold his own.
Wonderful. 30.
This one's got the Temple of Heaven on it.
Yeah, and then what's on the other side?
Tom and Jerry.
Thank you. Tickets for the Temple of Heaven.
The highlight of the Temple of Heaven, of course, was the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvests. We went to the Forbidden City, a huge complex that served as the imperial palace for 24 emperors. Across the road from the Forbidden City is JINGSHAN Park. You can climb a hill to a pavilion overlooking the palace to get a sense of just how big it is. The view is magnificent, but some people still find the red-headed kids even more interesting. We left the park and went across the road from our hotel to SIJI MINFU, one of Beijing's notable Peking duck specialty restaurants.
You have to eat it and swallow it. And you have to say yum.
You cannot be scared of a piece of duck. The rest of us ate a scorpion last night.
2 thumbs up for Peking duck. Very good.
Mallory, how was the duck?
Duck head. There's something squirting out this cheek. I think it's the brain.
Oh my god.
We went back to the hotel to pick up our luggage and headed for the train station. We had another overnight train ride ahead of us. Next stop, Xi'an. Xi'an's big claim to fame is the thousands of Terra Cotta Warriors that were unearthed by a farmer digging a well in the 1970s.
Some of them are missing hands.
Missing hands? Well, some of them are missing lots of things.
Some of them are missing a head. Some of them are missing heads.
Heads. Too bad for you.
The excavation of additional warriors continues to this day. The ancient city of Xi'an is surrounded by the old city wall. You can climb up to the top of the wall and rent bikes to ride around. The full loop around the city is about 8 miles long. It was a hot day, but we made it the whole way. All that biking made us work up an appetite. For dinner, we went to the Muslim street market and went in search of some unique local specialties.
It's not pineapple. I don't know what
pineapple?
it is. Not even close.
What is it? Is it like cake?
I got no idea. I don't even like it.
What you got?
Rice, isn't it? Rice.
I don't know.
We searched high and low through the market for this guy, and we finally found him. His awesome cotton candy creations were worth the hunt. Here's Chad getting sucked in by a local vendor and starting what would become a trend for the rest of the trip.
Who doesn't know if it's squid or octopus?
I don't know if it's squid or octopus. They pretty much taste the same, I think, though.
We took the train to Chengdu, the panda capital of the world, and the next morning we went to the research base of giant panda breeding.
Pandas.
We were so fortunate to be wandering through the panda nursery at the exact moment that they opened for the day, and for a brief time we had the baby panda cubs almost all to ourselves.
I would guess that once they eat, they might walk around a little bit.
But this is all.
We went to Jinli Ancient Street, another famous market that's perhaps best known for its snack foods. Keep an eye on the girl in the white shirt. She thought she was getting away with something, but we were on to her.
I'm famous. Maybe that was Liam though, maybe not me.
My meal plan now, squid sticks and pineapple rice.
I don't know what they are, but they're cute.
You got one?
Try one? Yeah, let's try one.
We don't know what they are, we'll try one.
We've been taking in the car.
Oh, you get two.
What'd you get? Some sort of panda dim sum.
You want a bite now? You like it? You finish. We can give William one more little bite and then you finish the rest. She likes it. And hurry
The
now.
outside part tastes like cookie dough, but without the chocolate chips in it.
Okay, you're on. You finish it off now, Mal.
They're like sugar cookie dough.
Oh, pig snout.
Those are pig snouts.
Who's getting a pig snout?
I don't have time.
You know what? No.
Otherwise, I would get a bunch.
Quick now. Wash your scooters, including the one that's your brother.
We flew from Chengdu to Guilin, and the next morning we set out for the Longshan rice terraces. The local specialty here is bamboo rice.
That bamboo is green.
Not after they cook it. It's been in a barbecue.
While waiting in line, these girls kept snapping secret selfies with us, but eventually they worked up the nerve to say hello.
This thing doesn't slow down at all, of course, does it?
They flatten out the land in steps, and then you can plant on flat pieces, flat parts of the earth. If you didn't have those flat parts, you wouldn't be able to grow anything here.
We left the Longshan rice terraces and drove to the Yangshuo mountain retreat, where we checked in for a 3-night stay, but we would have to wait until the morning light to see just how impressive the scenery was.
Hey Cook family, how's breakfast going?
With rafting officially open for the day, we walked upriver to find the launch location and hire some rafts of our own.
For it not to happen. Yep. Ooh, here we go. Here we go, Liam. White water. Woohoo! Oh, baby, oh. Get up and walk off first.
After our rafting trip, we walked back upriver and quickly found another way to get out on the water. By this time, there was a whole army of rafts coming down the river at us, and Liam and Mallory took it upon themselves to entertain the passing rafters, many of whom found them just as worthy of recording for posterity as the passing scenery.
Chinese tourists who are going out there. Bamboo raft ride.
does look good.
Got some little nuggets in
Yep,
there.
peanuts in our rice.
What you got there?
Pineapple. Pineapple chicken.
After dinner, we went into town to watch a traditional cormorant fishing demonstration. The fisherman ties a string around the birds' necks so that when they catch a fish, they can't swallow it and instead have to spit it out into his basket. The next morning, we hopped on some bikes and rode over to Moon Hill.
So we were hiking Moon Hill and we came across this sign. Narrow road, be careful on empty. Not really sure how to interpret that, but it's pretty common for the signs we see around here. Where's Moon Hill? There's Moon Hill. We made it. Boom. Mr. Mountain Goat here is still skipping. Get out of here, you're rubbing it in now. Where are you off to, Dad?
Over yonder.
Over yonder.
Moving hill, the other side.
Cold water. Oh, one more.
Want to get one for her?
Okay, you want cold water?
She had a long walk up.
It's lady 77. Lady 77.
Oh, wow.
They're tired.
Tired?
I bet you're tired. That's a long way to come.
Lady tired 的啦。bigger top. Okay, thank you very much. You're colder.
How's the water, Mal?
Colder, beautiful.
You deserve it.
Beautiful. Why do you want to beautiful?
Mal, you're
She said you're
beautiful.
A lady not beautiful.
This is so gross. How sweaty are you? Oh, God. That is disgusting.
With our climb done, we rode back to Yangshuo Mountain Retreat, and the kids took a break in our room, which thankfully had very strong air conditioning. In the meantime, Chad and I headed back out on the bikes to see a bit more of the countryside. And when we got back from our ride, we were all ready to jump in the river again to cool off.
That was the tubing. Did you guys go down the rapids?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't see that. How was it? Fun?
Yeah.
Did you flip?
No.
Was it dangerous?
Yes.
Would you do it again?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
Me and Scooter just discovered a fun thing to do though.
What?
Get in line with the rafts and go down the rapids with them.
I didn't see you guys do that.
Once you see how fun it is, then you'll want to run back and do it.
We had another fantastic dinner before heading back into Yangshuo for our last night. We had tickets to Impression Sanji Lu, a nightly show put on in a natural amphitheater on the water.
This is the theater for Impression Sanji Lu, which I probably haven't pronounced properly, but
The next morning, we drove to XINGPING and went looking for a landmark location.
Man, are we at the right spot? I think it's fair to say we're at the right spot for the 20 RMB note. Awesome.
We went to LAOZHAI Hill, where you can hike up to a scenic overlook. This was another incredibly hot and steep hike that was a lot more intense than we were expecting. Notice the sheer vertical here.
Scooter, how was that one? Worth it, eh? There is the money shot. It's beautiful. Here. Yeah.
Finally, we made our way to the XINGPING train station so that we could catch a train to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a border city and the last point on mainland China before entering Hong Kong. We crossed the border by private vehicle and entered Hong Kong. We made our way to Disney's Explorers Lodge where we'd be spending the next 3 nights. We spent a day exploring Hong Kong, starting off on the MTR to Tangchung Station, and then taking a cable car to the village of Nongping, home of the famous Tiantan Buddha. We left Nongping and rode the train to Hong Kong Island, where we made a stop for some lunch.
Sweet and spicy squid in a bag. Number 1 ingredient is squid.
That afternoon, we braved the crowd at the Victoria Peak tram station and caught a lift to the top of the city. We couldn't leave Hong Kong without trying a traditional bubble waffle.
It's bubbly.
And waffle?
On second thought, maybe those aren't so traditional after all. In order to get back to Kowloon, we chose to ride the Star Ferry across Victoria Harbour. We hung around the waterfront until the nightly Symphony of Light show began, though in hindsight, I'm not sure why we bothered. It was a bit of a letdown. Leave it to Mallory to make the most of the situation.
You got another squid in the bag.
Can't pass up squid in the bag. I thought it was going to be on a stick. Squid jerky.
Back on Disney property, we took advantage of some distinctly Asian experiences, including a Tai Chi class with Master Goofy and ordering some adorable character dim sum.
We're filming.
Then, it was time to cross park number 5 off our every Disney park bucket list.
Kids, where are we going? Where are we going?
Disneyland.
Which one?
We'd heard that Mystic Manor is one of the highlights of Hong Kong Disneyland, and it did not disappoint. Jungle Cruise is done here in 3 languages. Runaway Mine Cars is awesome. We unexpectedly came across a big pin trading event, and that was a ton of fun.
Just trade it again.
I didn't realize it was a TDR Explorer style.
It is.
That's cool.
Squid. It's a squid press. It's a squid machine.